Excuse me. Alright, sounds good. Khan A. Shalom, shalom, akiyam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak, Chodash. I would also like to give a double honors to the beloved elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. I would also like to say peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000 men of Israel, which consists of the servants, the prophets, whom have been ordained since the foundations of this earth to sing this new song, which comes in the form of this gospel, which would be preached throughout all four corners of this earth and rest upon the ears of the innumerable multitude, men, women, and children of Israel, who may be scattered throughout all four corners of this earth. Shalom. Hey, shalom, beloved Akiyam and Akwath. It's just Bayan back again through the spirit, power, mercy, and grace of our power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, in efforts to hopefully, Lord willing, bring forth some edification, some worthy information regarding the reality of prophecy and the doom and gloom that lies in wait for Babylon as far as the land and the inhabitants thereof, bro. This place is marked for destruction, and there's no way, there's no shape, form, or fashion of this man being able to escape. Like, there's nothing he can do. Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man. There's nothing he can do to avoid, what's going to come upon him. Now, if you Akiyam and Akwath are not aware, Trump is in the process of trying to bring forth a golden dome, using technology. Well, that's really just a figment of his imagination. Because what you're going to find out in this clip I got a clip in an article I'm going to share with you, beloved Akiyam and Akwath, Lord willing. The golden dome, these Edomites are trying to manifest, they don't even have the technology at this current time. They don't have the satellites that's necessary to bring forth this plan. Showing you that they're at the mercy of the Lord, showing you that this is the Lord set this thing up. And whatever they do end up concocting, whatever they do end up concocting, that we know it's not going to matter. Because as it tells us in the book of Joel, Lord willing, we're going to get that, when it's talking to the missiles, and mentions how when they fall upon the sword, they still won't, they're not going to lose their rank. Meaning what? These missiles, when these ICBM missiles are shot, when these defense systems try to stop them, it's not going to make a difference. There's no stopping, the weapons of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai's indignation. He clearly said he's going to open up his armory, man. And one thing that this world doesn't understand, is the power that they think they serve. This God in Jesus Christ, the true name being Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. These people have no idea. These people have no idea the type of power, that truly exists, within the volume of the book. And you heathen, have quite the surprise to look forward to. Because Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, has pitched you, this supersessionism, this replacement theology, this Renaissance, form of Christianity, and he's put you in a position, with first starting with you Edomites, you regular Joe Six-Pack, he put you in a position to make you think that you the chosen. He's done confused you and blinded you and completely deceived you. To think that you're the chosen. So you're going to be knocked off your rocker when you see the reality of who you think Jesus Christ looks like, who you ignorantly call Jesus Christ. That's going to knock you off your rocker when you see a so-called nigger, that you be talking at the dinner table about, amongst your family, right? That's going to throw you. And then you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, 2/3 of you, you're going to come to the conclusion that you've inherited lies. Like it tells us in Jeremiah, I believe Jeremiah 16, if I'm not mistaken. You're going to come to the conclusion that you've inherited lies. This white Jesus you got hung up in your dining room, and This mindset that God loves everybody, you hold fast to. All right, this mindset that you think that as long as you call upon this JC character, all right, you will be relieved of all your abomination, all right, and all your wickedness, man. No, you're gonna come to the conclusion as well that your power wasn't passive. That Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is an austere man like his father, man. All right, the Lord will kill you and your family, and not think twice about it. You're gonna come to this conclusion because what the Lord's about to do. I was watching the live stream last night. The brothers over in the brothers out of Atlanta. I was tapping into their live stream last night, and they were honing into famine, right? Which is a relevant part of end time prophecy is famine. See, the Lord is going to utilize famine as that's going to be the equalizer. All right, because one thing about you modern day mortals is that you're proud. All right, the pride of these people is unbelievable. All right, but it's hard to be proud when your stomach's growling. It's hard to be proud after not eating for 7 days, and now it's hard for you to blink. All right, it's hard to be proud when you're perishing of famine, man. All right, you're pretty much disintegrating. You see, it's hard to be proud when you're in that condition. See, and that scenario is gonna play out on the world stage, but it's gonna come into its perfection in Babylon. All right, the place where, you can wax rich. All right, the place where they live. The scriptures tell it goes into how they live deliciously, man. Without care. You see, it's gonna manifest over here in its perfection, and you people are gonna fold, man. You gonna fold, and and Esau's gonna offer you that thing, that Revelations 13:16. He's gonna, because again, the Lord's using Esau to bring forth these scourges and calamities. He's using him. Esau is the weapon he's using for the evil that's coming. Okay, and of course the Lord's gonna be doing it divinely as well on his end. But Esau is a device that he's gonna be using to bring forth pestilence. Hence the CDC, hence Mississippi, monkeys on the loose. You know about that. There's some monkeys on the loose over in Mississippi. That's gonna trigger something. That was Esau. That's a plan. That's one of Esau's plans. But needless to say, going back to the point, all right, Esau, he clearly understands that his time is running out. Esau, as much as he puts out there, there's not going to be, via Trump, there's not going to be a World War III, X, Y, and Z, it's not going to happen. Blah, blah, blah. That's the furthest thing from the truth. Because prophecy says otherwise. And when you look into the mindset of these other kings of the earth, these other heathen nations, they're dead set. They're geared. And I got some information. They're geared to shoot missiles. All right, they're fixed on these nuclear weapon programs, bro. All right, and there's no turning them back. There's no stopping them because this is the Lord's will. This is prophecy, man. Okay, and we're coming into the time where judgment's going to be executed in its perfection upon Babylon. All right, now real quick, that golden dome is going to be null and void. Now I want to go here real quick, right? Through the spirit. Let's go right here. Hence the title. Let's go grab this real quick. Bear with me, this tablet's kind of lagging. All right, here we go. Let me see, the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 16, and verse 1, and it reads, "Woe be unto thee, Babylon." Okay? And this Babylon is talking to America. All right? And Asia. Right? Because as we know, Asia's been one of Babylon's sidekicks. Right here in men, really. As far as these dainties and waxing rich and, being drunk off the philosophy of this place. Asia's hooked. They're hooked in. Asia and Babylon, lock, stock, and barrel. All right, lock, stock, and barrel. That's why when you read further down in this chapter, the Lord got a couple and bring death and calamity upon it. But anyways, woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria, bro. All you heathen gonna pay, bro. Look, gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry. Why? For your destruction is at hand. And I just want to highlight this. So as much as the Lord's going to utilize Russia, right, being the main catalyst to shoot missiles on Babylon, along with their allies, the BRICS nations, obviously as well concerning prophecy, Revelation 17, America's own allies, the beast, right, is gonna wage war against the whore. Okay, the beast being what the she rides upon the beast, right, which consists of the NATO and the EU. You see, I want to hone in on the European Union specifically, all right, because those are those 10 horns that are gonna turn on her when you read Revelation 17. You see, they're gonna burn her with fire. It tells us. You see, so and it tells you in Obadiah, I think it's 1 and 7, that those that were at peace with her have deceived her, man, and they're gonna prevail against her, because the Lord's gonna be behind it. You see, but the point I'm making is at the end of the day, even the nations that are gonna be utilized to turn this place into a lake of fire, they're gonna get judged up. You see, because the chariots of the Lord, right, are gonna zap these niggas, man. All right, there's gonna be a war that's gonna take off over in the Middle East, bro. The world agent really calls the Middle East. It's Western Asia, right over there in what's that? Saudi Arabia. It's gonna go down, right? The valley of Yahweh Shaphat, the valley of Yahweh's judgment. It's gonna go down. These heathen nations are not going nowhere fast. No, Russia's not gonna rule for a couple of minutes upon the return of our Lord Yahweh Shai. No, that's not gonna happen. Okay? Upon the return of our Lord Yahweh Shai, it's over. That transition of Eon has happened. Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. All right? Esau is the head heathen on this side. He's beast system that we know of as far as being the NATO and the EU, with this whole America riding on that system, on that beast. These are the feet and the toes, okay, of the statue that Daniel interpreted for via Nebuchadnezzar's dream. Okay, we're in the feet and the toes of that statue, bro. You see? And Yahweh Shai is coming to knock out the foundation, right, of this statue, bro, which Esau's the foundation of these heathen. All right, being the hammer of the earth. Is what? As the Lord's using these heathen nations to pinpoint and target Esau, at the end of the day, these heathen nations are going to be pinpointed and targeted. Let's go. Look it. Continuing on, 2 Ezra 6:3. A sword is sent upon you. A sword. Right? The modern day sword is the gun. All right? Any killing instrument in between that and then the sword in its perfection, the missiles. You see? As you can see back in 2020, that juice, all right, that was the sword. That was a form of the sword. Why? Because it brought deletion. You see? And as far as the sword is concerned, the modern day gun, we don't want to tap it. That's Esau's blessing. You see? We want to tap into our blessing, which is the spirit. That's another. I want to just throw that out there real quick. Because the times we're coming into, we don't want to be in the mindset like, and if you have, a blicky that, legally, obviously, you know what I mean? Hey, there's nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? But I'm more talking to a mindset, we don't want to be in a mindset like, oh, I got to get a couple of blickies and store them up for the times that we're coming into. Nah, you should be thinking like, oh, Lord willing, divine intervention takes place for me. Lord willing, I get them spiritual powers. All right, or I'm around a brother that got them. And I get delivered and preserved and reserved and directed and guided and guarded through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Shai. That's faith. You see, we want to stand on the spirit. Because that, again, the blicky's Esau's blessing. That's his blessing. And he's tapping into it. We want to tap into our blessing, which is the spirit. Truly believe that the Lord's going to fight for us and defend us, man. And he told us he would. right? Let's continue on. Right, 2nd Ezra 16:3. A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back, bro? So a sword in this context is talking to those missiles are going to be sent upon these nations, bro. Starting with Babylon, Syria, all these heathen nations, bro. They're going to self-destruct. There's going to be a thermonuclear fallout, is what's going to end up happening, right? Which is going to be used to clean the earth. You see? This thermonuclear fallout is going to take place. Fire is a cleansing agent. You see? This is going to be the Lord's way to clean the earth and expand it. All right? The earth is actually going to be bigger after this cataclysmic event. And so, like, I don't mean to use $1 million words. It's just the spirit, you know? Because it's going to be that real. You know, it's going to be that real. It's going to be unbelievable, the type of destruction that's going to come out of the transition of these eons, bro. From Esau to Jacob. It's going to be unbelievable. It's going to be remembered for forever. You know? Continuing, I'm gonna read a little further down. Look it. A fire is sent among you, showing you that sword talking in verse 3 is talking to those missiles, man. All right, look. A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? These are questions, right? Plagues are sent unto you, and these missiles are likened unto plagues. All right. What is he that may drive them away? Okay. And I brought this out to highlight the reality of this golden dome that Esau is thinking about erecting or trying to erect, right? It's going to be in vain. Because at the end of the day, this is the Lord's will, all right, to shoot missiles on her and spare not one of them, right? Go get this real quick. Now, I got this article. I'm going to get the article first. Because the video is going to back up the reality of the article based off the rhetoric that the West is talking about regarding these nuclear weapons. Check it out. Now, this is from Natural News, and it's dated November 9th. All right, this article is dated November 9th, 2025, so it's pretty fresh, right? And the title reads, Russia's Poseidon and Burevestnik, right, which are these two weapons that Russia's been working on, right? And these things are state of the art. Check it out. Doomsday weapons or coercive nuclear signaling, right? And this is a question being raised because ultimately the West is coming with a stance that as far as this Burevestnik weapon, they're trying to make it seem as if it's before its time and Russia's capping. And as you're going to see as we read into this, and I did a lesson on last week, I actually tapped into this Burevestnik missile. And that article highlighted it as well, that the West, all right, thinks Russia's capping regarding this missile. All right, but we'll see. According to biblical prophecy, we know, all right, that plowshares and agricultural tools are being beaten into wars, weapons of war. All right, so, and that's the pride of Esau. See, these Westerners, their heads up their ass. Okay? These Westerners are the worst out of the Edomites. Their head is all the way up their rectum. Like they think if they don't got it, no one does. If they can't do it, no one can. You see? And that goes into the Obadiah. That this bitch is their pride has deceived them. Esau's so proud that he's deceived himself. And that's how you sick. Now you're truly sick. Right? When you start deceiving your own self. But anyways, let's get a couple of these thumbnails in this article. That's all we need. Right? And it reads, Russian President Vladimir Putin announced successful tests of 2 advanced nuclear systems. The Burevestnik, right? A nuclear-powered, nuclear-armed cruise missile with unlimited range, making it nearly impossible to intercept, bro. Right, so it's like it's one of those glide missiles, bro. And they run low, under radar. You can't, you see them, the traditional ICBM goes way up, hundreds of miles above the earth. And then there's these missile detect systems, because they're so high up and they use gravity to come back down, they can be detected and intercepted. You see? But these style missiles right here, these are new ones. Right, this Burevestnik is a cruise style. So this nigga can run low. It can get shot up and he can run low, where it'll be under the radar. So this nigga's like undetectable until they're there. By the time they get in there, it's over. They're so fast. Now check this out. A nuclear-powered, nuclear-armed cruise missile with unlimited range, making it nearly impossible to intercept. And the Poseidon, an autonomous nuclear-powered underwater drone. Okay? Capable of carrying 100 megaton warheads. Designed to create radioactive doomsday zones, bro. Okay, so they have an underwater nuclear-powered drone, all right, which is able to carry 100 megaton warheads, bro. All right, via prophecy, now we see the reality behind how the earth is gonna rock to and fro. All right, and this is the spirit, right? Because you know, old boy Trump was boasting in the submarine technology that they have, you know. And then here it is, Russia's got a underwater joint, you know, that can knock off a whole coastline. Check it out, right? Look at the Burevestnik's slow speed, right, raises doubts about its effectiveness as a first strike weapon, but it could serve as a second strike deterrent. Meanwhile, the Poseidon is intended to devastate coastal regions with radioactive fallout. Hold on. Potentially rendering cities uninhabitable for centuries, bro. Okay, this is the reality of the type of weaponry that's on the planet right now. Why? Because we here. We're in the time, all right, of the revival of the nation of Israel through the destruction of evil E. It goes hand in hand. Destruction is hand in hand with salvation, as we know. You see? This is the way the thing's going to go out. The Lord told us, bro. It's all throughout the scriptures. We're going to tap into some of it. Look, at the Burevestnik program has suffered deadly accidents, including a 2019 radiation leak, right, that deleted scientists and soldiers, right? Previous unexplained radiation spikes in Europe may be linked to earlier tests. It says Putin's announcement coincides with escalating U.S.-Russia tensions over Ukraine and failed diplomatic talks. The weapons are seen as coercive nuclear signaling. So they're saying, the West is saying that these weapons are just coercive nuclear signaling, which coercive, you're pretty much trying to make somebody do something against their will. You know, you're creating a scenario, to whether a threat or whatever, to make somebody do something, but you really ain't got it like that. That's what the West is likening this onto. They're not really adhering to the reality of, you know, what's being presented to them. They're pretty much just, they're doing one of those numbers. They're just like, listen, these niggas ain't running like that. These niggas ain't rocking like that. You see? And that's that pride. Pride to get you in that mindset, bro. Pride, they're blinded. The Westerners are blinded, bro. You see? They're blinded. Them niggas, Hegseth and them, they think they're them. They can't, they think they're still them they think they're still the 1940, 50 Edomite. You know, nah, things done changed, bro. Technology has changed the game. The weak are now saying I'm strong is through these weapons, bro. Right? The Lord is working, bro. Look. Where did I leave off? Oh, right there. Look it. The weapons are seen as a coercive nuclear signaling, either deterring NATO or positioning these weapons as a bargaining chip in arms control negotiations. So they pretty much think they're capping. Look at the U.S. responded by resuming nuclear weapons testing after a 33-year moratorium. Right? NATO analysis remains skeptical right? Citing technical hurdles and vulnerability to future countermeasures. Risks include destabilizing global security and incentivizing preemptive strikes in the crisis. I'm going to get a little more here. Russian President Vladimir Putin has announced again thrust Moscow's advanced nuclear arsenal into the global spotlight, announcing successful tests of these two experimental weapons, right? The Brezhnev nuclear-powered cruise missile and the Poseidon nuclear-armed underwater drone. Right? The Russian leader has hailed both systems as unmatched in the world. However, they have raised alarm among Western defense analysts, who warn that these weapons could redefine strategic deterrence or serve as a high. So it's one of the because if these things are real, hey, they're gonna redefine strategic deterrence. Meaning what? The technology that they have, and we're gonna tap into this Golden Dome, which is pretty much talking to the technology that they have. It's not gonna be relevant enough to deter this type of technology. Okay, that Poseidon and that Brezhnev, the way they operate, the technology that's around right now, as far as a weapon missiles defense system, it's not relevant. It's gonna hinder useless, is what they're saying. That's what they mean by that right there. Right? Or it's serving as a high stakes bluff, right? In Moscow's escalating geopolitical standoff with the NATO. Hey, and again, they don't think they're moving like that, but they're gonna find out because prophecy tells us. Let's go ahead. Before I grab that clip, right? And that clip is going to coincide with this article beautifully. You see? Because with all that capping, with all that smoke Babylon's blowing, right? With all that waving the hand at the old boy, right, at the bear, they're in a position where they're moving warp speed to bring forth a defense system that can stop these things. They're moving desperately. Hold on for 1 second. Let's get this real quick. Time is flying by, my goodness. Let's get this real quick. The book of time flies when you're having fun, right? The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, and verse 9, and it reads, "For lo, I will raise to come up against Babylon." And again, this is talking to America vocab Malone, right? And the rest of you false prophets out there, you false scholars, all right? Because if it's not talking about America, what are the landmasters are talking about? You tell us. We're waiting to find out. All right? We're waiting to find out. We're never going to talk about Isaiah 14. Lord willing, we might get into that. But anyways, for lo, Jeremiah 50:9, "For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country." Okay? And this north country is talking about the Medes, Russia. Okay? This is that north country that's going to come with an assembly. All right? BRICS nations, the BRICS, right? And the rest of the allies, right? "And they shall set themselves in array against her." Battle formation, right? Demon. Looking all up in my car. Who's this nigga? Esau, but it's the spirit. They can feel it. Let's continue on. "And they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken." From thence she shall be taken. This whore is going to be taken. All right? Look, how? "Their arrows shall be of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain." Okay? Why? Let's go back to 2nd Esdras 16 real quick. You Aki, I'm an Aqua already know. I think I want 15. Yeah, it's 16. This is why. This is why none of them are going to return in vain. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and verse 13. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. And we know Yahweh Bashim Yahushai's right hand. Yahweh's right hand is Yahushai. Alright? He's his mighty right hand and right arm. Right? Second in command. He's been given power over all heaven and all earth. Matthew the 28th chapter. You see? For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. Right? The bow talking to those silos. His arrows that he shooteth the sharp, the missiles. Okay? And shall not miss. Why? When they begin to be shot into the ends of the world, they're not going to miss because the Spirit of the Lord is going to be directing these missiles. You see, divine intervention is going to be taking place upon this divine destruction. You see, and this is what Esau don't understand. You're no longer the golden cup in the Lord's hand. You're no longer being favored. All right, there's gonna be no you ain't getting the war. Yeah, World War I and war. There's a shirt. They got a shirt out there, a sweater. I forgot how it goes, but pretty much they're likening themselves to be victorious via World War I, World War II, and then World War III. I forgot how they dressed it up. Lord willing, I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna use it as a thumbnail. Lord willing, I'm gonna find it, and it just displays the pride of Esau. They think they're gonna take World War III. Because they know World War III is a reality. Hey, the third woe spoken of in the prophecies, bro. It's coming quickly. It's coming quickly, man. Right? And it's gonna catch a lot of you people. The rug's gonna be pulled from underneath you, man. You know? Because in your mind, see? So the Lord's gonna be directing these weapons, bro. Again, the scriptures tell us that they're his weapons. Okay? Let me just go get that real quick and we'll get the video. They're the Lord's weapons. Esau's technology ain't shit. I'm going to say that. Because this time, you got the best service and all that, and this shit's still lagging. In the kingdom, man, listen. Anyways. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50. And verse 22, a sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction, man. All right, this is we're hearing it through these rumors. All right, through these rumors, bro. Like at scripture, there's gonna be a rumor 1 year, next year a rumor, right? And then ruler against ruler. All right, third world's woe, thermonuclear fallout. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations via World War III? All right. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon. Thou was not aware, because she's proud, right? Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. Look, here's the point. The Lord Yahweh hath opened his armory, and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. Okay, the weapons of his righteous anger. Those ICBM missiles in every form of them. Okay? All right, for this is the work of the Lord power, Yahweh of hosts, in the land of the Chaldeans, bro. All right, with the Chaldeans, it goes hands in hand. When you hear that right there, the land of the Chaldeans, it's talking to Babylon. That goes hand in hand. Right, it's pretty much talking to the wise men of the time of Babylon, right, which will be your modern day technocrat today. Hence, Trump is surrounding himself around them. But anyways, let's get this clip. This is from the beloved brother Ashayar. Right, he did a little clip. I'm going to use the first half of it. All right, going into some information regarding the reality. Regarding the reality of the times we're living in and the reality of the pending doom of Babylon the Great. Check this out. And this is fair use, fair use. All right. I'm not making any monetary gain off of this clip. All right, this is for educational purposes only. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it from the beginning and let it run through the the information with the sheet of Mike talking. Let me see here. My goodness, man. Bear with me. It's just acting crazy. Bear with me, Yaki Amanakwa. Bear with me, it's frozen. Let me try to go back in. There's a complete spirit on the tablet. Bear with me. God damn. All right, here we go. Wow. Let me turn this up. Where's the volume on this thing?
For America is game changer.
President Trump's Golden Dome plan might look simple here, but if the $175 billion missile defense shield is going to work the way he wants it to, the U.S. will need to put technology into space that is incredibly complex. In some cases, we're talking about satellites that don't even exist yet.
The only time that I can think of in the history of the United States where we have gone after something this complex was the Manhattan Project.
In the short term, experts say we'll probably see more existing defense systems placed around the country. Long term, those systems will have to interact with hundreds of satellites that are supposed to detect, track, and eventually even intercept high-tech missiles from space. That's because competitors like China and Russia are racing to develop missiles that can maneuver and evade current defenses.
I think innovation is going to continue, and we can't imagine or predict what our competitor nations are going to come up with.
Here's what the Golden Dome could ultimately look like, and why some worry that it will fuel a dangerous arms race in space. To understand why officials say the Golden Dome is needed, you first have to understand how missile technology is advancing. We'll start with the Standard Intercontinental Ballistic Missile, or ICBM, which travels in a high arc. This kind of missile, boosted by a rocket, travels to its peak hundreds of miles above the Earth, and then is brought down by gravity. ICBMs are very dangerous. They can carry multiple nuclear warheads and even be shot from submarines. But their trajectory is predictable, making them easier to detect and track with radar. So several defense systems are capable of shooting one of these down. Now there's a newer and more dangerous intercontinental missile called the Fractional Orbital Bombardment System, or FOBS. These can fly much lower. This kind of weapon is launched into a partial or fractional orbit. Since it doesn't travel in a high arc, the weapon can fly under the radar for much of its flight. It's capable of reaching its target much faster, and crucially, it can approach from unexpected angles, meaning defenses don't know when or where it's coming down. Another newer threat is the Boosted Hypersonic Glide Weapon, which is an intercontinental missile that can maneuver and evade defenses. These missiles are launched into space and ultimately travel at extremely fast speeds, greater than Mach 5. And after they enter the atmosphere, they maneuver to their targets on a glide vehicle. Because they can glide at low altitudes and change course midair, they can be extremely hard to detect and counter. So, how will the Golden Dome help upgrade the U.S.'s defenses to counter these new threats? The U.S. already has a network of satellites that scans for infrared signatures, so they can detect when and where missiles launch. But those satellites can't determine the type of missiles being fired.
The maneuverability, the gliding, the outmaneuvering of our defenses, those are all the challenges that we're trying to address. So we need a sensor layer that can keep track and custody of all of these objects as they are maneuvering.
A sensor layer, which the Pentagon has already been developing, is a network of tracking satellites that President Trump wants to expedite. By launching hundreds and eventually even thousands of sensors into orbit, the U.S. says it will be able to detect and, importantly, track missiles as they maneuver and change course. Officials say the system will be able to calculate where a missile is heading so that defense systems can intercept it.
So my thing is this. Who's capping? Because here it is. They're trying to concoct the Golden Dome with technology, apparently, via these high-tech, complicated satellites they don't even have access to yet. So who's capping them? You see? And as we mentioned earlier, let me see something real quick. Let me just stop this video. I don't know why this thing is acting crazy. Well, I know why it's acting crazy. It's them principalities at work. Let me see here. Go ahead. Here we go. Got that video off. Let me just pause this real quick. All right, there we go. Khan. And as we were saying earlier, right? If they were, come on now. If they were to successfully build this Golden Dome, let's see what prophecy says regarding these missiles and what would happen if they were to get shot down potentially. Joel chapter 2. Bear with me real quick. I'm actually going to jump around. I'm going to start from the top. The book of Joel chapter 2 and verse 1, and it reads, "Blow ye the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain," which is what we're doing. All right? Essentially, Lord willing, the elect hears this report, right? And through the terror of the Lord is galvanized to repent, to not get caught up, right? In this event that's going to take place at the end, right? Look it. And before that, because as far as before, that's the climax. All right? Because prior to that, again, famine, teeth of wild beasts, silver unrest. All right? Scripture said we're going to be like pilgrims on the earth. We're going to want to be guided by the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. But in order to qualify the hope to be guided by the Lord, you got to have been keeping his commandments and precepts, bro. As it tells us in 2 Ezra 16. You would have had to have given your mind over to the Lord. Right? You would have already been exercising the spirit. All right, prior to the evil days coming. You see? So understand that. These a special demon to be preserved for these missiles. All right, because that's going to come with torment, man. It's not going to end as fast as a carnal individual may think. Oh, I'm going to get hit with a missile, I'll be out of there. You don't understand the power that you're dealing with. We're dealing with the Father of spirits. Okay? Listen, it may seem as if you out of there, but you feeling it. Okay, the scripture said in Revelation 14 and 9, you're gonna dwell in torments, man. If you get caught up in this second death. It ain't gonna be no smooth transition. Are you crazy? But hey, you can think that. I'm gonna continue on. You have no idea who you're dealing with, man, when it comes to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Joel 2 and 1 again. "Blow ye the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain." Right, Zion going into Zion, which is talking to Israel. Right, it goes into a monument or a parched place, a memorial. Right, it's another name for Jerusalem, which is talking to the people before it's a place. It's talking to Jake, our so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Let me continue. "Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble." Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, man. Right? "For the day of the Lord Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand." Right? "A day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness. As the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and the strong, There have not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. And these people is talking to those missiles. And we're going to show you right now. A fire devoureth before them. See? A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. Right. Because that fire that devoureth before them is going into those warheads. That's at the head of these at the head of these missiles, man. Okay? And the flame the flame that burneth. See, the majority of this missile is to get us to its destination. It's part of its trajectory. You know, is made up. A lot of it is made up of the fuselage, because it breaks away. It breaks away in 2-3 sections. These things leap continents. You see, so they got to get there. You got to have fuel, right? The power is in its head. All right. Let me continue on here. Let me see. A fire devoured before them, and behind them a flame burneth. Their land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Right. Everything's all smooth and everything's calm and everything's normal up until these things touch down. All right. After that, what? It's left a desolate wilderness, man. After these things touch down. All right. These things are powerful enough to reshape landmass from an aerial view. You look at a specific demographic before, and then after these ICBM missiles touch down, and even one of them in some cases, like the Satan II, you will see from an aerial, from a space view, that land mass has changed. You see, it can reshape it. These things are extremely powerful. Divine power. Right? Let's continue on. Oh, let me read that again. Right? Joel 2:3. I got to keep reading through that. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yeah. And nothing shall escape them. Nothing shall escape them, bro. Again, going back to what we brought out in 2 Ezra 16. The Spirit of the Lord is going to be on these missiles, bro. Mighty is his right hand that bendeth the bow. Okay? I'm jumping down to verse 8. Neither shall any thrust another. Right, they're going to be operating in order. Right? They shall walk everyone in his path. And when they fall upon the sword, right, which is talking to these missile defense systems, they shall not be wounded, bro. Okay? So, hey, it's not going to be a hit or miss. It's going to be a hit. When these things are shot, it's going to be a hit. All right? None of them are going to lose their rank. They're going to touch down. They're going to go exactly where they're supposed to go. And according to biblical prophecy, according to what John the Revelator heard, all right, he heard 200,000, which gets you to 200 million warheads, bro. That's what he heard. And he seen them fall like the stars from heaven, bro. All right, use your imagination. Imagine thousands of falling stars. Okay, a shooting star rather. Think about a shooting star. You know how it has the tail. You know, imagine thousands of those. That's what John the Revelator seen. He seen them fall like stars from heaven, bro. Okay, this is the cataclysmic event that's gonna take place at the end of this thing, which is gonna equal our salvation. And this is what we patiently wait for, man. All right, and we should pray for fewer days, as was commander of Esdras, right? And understand that the kingdom is prepared. Right? We want this to happen. This has to happen, bro. And efforts for us to get delivered out of it. You know? This is the way home. So yeah, man, that's all I got, beloved. Hey, stay prayed up. Hey, you already know, stay locked in. Continue to watch. You know, more spirit, less flesh. You know, and tap into the spirit. You know, tap into our blessing, bro. You know, don't think that anything carnal can deliver you from what's coming. You know, you should be praying for more faith. You should be praying for divine intervention to take place for you and your family. You should be praying for the Lord to continue to put the Spirit on you, to do the work. Pray to the Lord to protect you, preserve you, keep you. You know, this is all. Hey, at the end of the day, there's no other way out. You know, you got these people. You got Jay thinking he gonna get out of this jam with a 9mm with a switch on it. You know, we shouldn't be in our mindset that a gun's not going to get us out. No type of carnal, anything's going to get us out. It's all going to be through divine intervention. You see, the Lord's going to work his strange acts, man, about to take place, man. His strange acts, bro. All right, it's about to go down, man. Hey, but you already know, beloved Akim and Akwaf, Lord willing, you were edified. Lord willing, you were spiritually fed. And Abaratazar, Lord willing, you were informed. All right, and it's getting hot. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Chodash. Hey, double honors to the beloved elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. Hey, Lord willing, again, you beloved Akim and Akwaf were edified, spiritually fed through the Spirit, and Lord willing, informed. All right, we're measuring the times diligently within itself, and the only way to properly do that is through prophecy. All right, at the end of the day, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. We're going home soon, Akim and Akwaf. Stay prayed up. Hey, fast as well as pray. Shalom.